Hey folks, this is ThriftyGamer83 here, just wondering how terrible I can be at one singular game, and namely, that is one of my all-time favorite games, Pitfall. I am playing it off of the Atari Flashback 2, and while I do like the technology behind it, which was used, largely it seems to be relatively hit or miss. While it's not an emulator, and while it's not the system on a chip, it is largely lacking in controls. The controls are just a second or two off of what you'd anticipate from an original Atari. So that does not help. And it becomes really apparent as you play just how little the controls are actually meant to help you. They seem like they are there merely to hinder you at times. There is an input delay between the actions which would originally be taken on an Atari compared to the Atari Flashback 2. And while I like the Flashback 2, that really does not help a majority of the gameplay or the games. The controls are stiff and wooden and not at all what they would appear to be, whereas it feels like it would be ultra responsive. If you play any of the games, it feels like it really is the old-fashioned Atari controller with grip, but unfortunately it is not. It is slow. It can be at times unstable and hard to measure jumps. And while some games are very responsive and use that to their advantage with differing titles, say Adventure or Millipede, these Pitfall is just, it feels broken. And as you can see there, I actually did hit the rope, and I'm just resetting it in a second. So it largely, the controls are just so broken that you may be better off grabbing an old DB9 Atari controller and seeing what you can actually do with it. As I don't have any DB9 controllers, I will be looking for some. I'm just a little impressed by the fact that the Atari Flashback really does manage to bring back some memories. It really just, you can tell with the movements that there's lag. There's input lag, there's controller lag. There's not necessarily player lag, which could be a player like me. No. Instead, it's the input lag between the Atari Flashback 2 controller and some of the games. Some games are ultra responsive and don't take very long to master at all. Some games are like Pitfall, and you will never really see what I mean until you actually play them. As much as I love the older Pitfall games, that is where it becomes an issue. That is where it becomes a little bit harder to measure. As you can tell, that time when I fell into the lake, yep, there we go. That's a trap that I didn't see coming. Rant, rave, love, hate, click the subscribe button.